This is gonna be a quick video about a Gungrave Gore, which is one of the games that I recently got. So a Gungrave Gore, it's a third-person, super fast-paced action game, third-person a shooter, right? And it's a very linear game, right? Like, share, subscribe. I share the video all over. Subscribe, please. I really want to get to 500 subscribers. So yeah, so a Gungrave Gore like is a very fast-paced linear action game, right? It's basically killing enemies and more waves of enemies, more enemies and more enemies. That's basically it. I like the gameplay. Moving on to new areas, right, and then killing more enemies. So there's not a whole lot of variety to the gameplay, right? Now you get a melee weapon. There's a melee weapon, right? It does high damage, right? The melee weapon, you can mix up different combos. There's not a whole lot of different combos, but yeah, upgrading, you can get more combos. There's also thing, the main thing is mostly shooting enemies. You're going to be shooting the enemies with your dual wield pistols, right? There's the heavy pistol option, and then there is the high firing rate pistol option, right? And yeah, you can upgrade the melee damage, pistol damage, etc. But yeah, basically the game is very linear. It's very linear. There's no puzzles, no arcade modes, no multiplayer, no co-op. It's just the linear single player, right? You're moving from areas to areas. It reminds me a lot of playing an Evil West, or a Stranglehold, or like a Max Payne type game, right? But this is extremely fast paced, right? And yeah, enemies can be grabbed, grappled onto once they are weakened, right? But like, overall, to the gameplay, there's not a whole lot of variety to the gameplay, right? There is more, you do get more enemies over time, right? More heavier enemies, shielded enemies, quicker enemies, right? Enemies that will dodge your bullets, right? Deflect your bullets back at you. But yeah, Gungrave Gore, just mostly taking out enemies, killing enemies. And you also get a special ability, special attacks, right? So you get these cool ass animations. They do like a crowd control, they do for more damage. And they also replenish health, right? The more enemies you take out, right, the more your health gets replenished, the more your armor gets replenished, right? But yeah, upgrading, like I'm always upgrading, saving up points to upgrade, to get that special attack. And yeah, but a Gungrave Gore, third person action game. If you guys like that type, a third person action, I love a third person action games. Max Payne 3, Metal Gear Rising, X-Men, Wolverine Origins, right? A Ninja Gaiden, right? But a Gungrave Gore doesn't really have that, there's not a whole lot of variety to it. There's not a lot of variety like combos. It's just mostly shooting enemies, right? And sometimes like with the animations, they don't match up with what you want the character to do sometimes. So sometimes, it's a very, an indie game, right? So it's a very, a low budget game, right? So some of the animations might be like a little bit too slow, right? Sometimes your character might be moving too fast, or for example, the controller input, right? So you'll press a shoot, and then sometimes the character will take a while to shoot. So there's some sort of a glitch in the controller input, right? So yeah, a Gungrave Gore third-person action game. I feel like, I check it out, right? It's one of the cheaper PS5 games. PS5 games can be very expensive, right? So yeah, like, share, subscribe. Thank you.